Are we going to do this today or what? Are we live? All right, everybody. Minnie, am I live? Woohoo! Woo! Okay, everybody. It's Festool Friday. It's 12 noon or thereabouts. I got to change that clock once again. It's running a little slow. But happy Festool Live. This is episode 186. So I had vacation last week, or the week, last week before, and I had to Google how to do this morning, but I kind of figured it out. Woo, boy, good thing I prepared yesterday. All right, everybody, I want to introduce the room. Everybody over here is Christine. Woo, say hi, Christine. Behind the camera, we have Chris, the unit Seibert. He's back from vacation as well, getting ready to go on another one. Mr. Book Match. On the line, we have Brent Shively from the Build with Brent series on YouTube. Check it out, please. It's awesome. Behind the board, we have Min. She's, by the way, everybody, tell us where you're from. Minnie writes it on the board in case you're new and joining us. We'd really like to hear where you're from. The shout out this week is for Team USA, baby. They're over in Paris, and the opening ceremony, I think, is at 1:30 our time, Eastern Standard Time. Or is it 1:30 over there?
It starts 1:30 over here.
Over here. It's 1:30 over here, so everybody tune in for the Paris Olympics. It's one of my favorite things to do, is watch the Olympics when I get home. All right, so in preparing for this, and a little bit of a note, God willing, I think the best of series is going to be done we have a heck of a stretch. Chris and I have been planning out the rest of the summer and fall, and I think we only have one more best of series up until Christmas, right, Unit?
Yep.
So I'm pretty stoked. Yep. By the way, Chris, the Unit Seibert, is also the executive producer of Festool Live. Okay.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so I'm going to read the board first. No, I'm not. Minnie just left. So this is what I want to do. This, I think we called it out. We've already sent something out to Lucy to post about what this episode is about. And it is continuing a series called Tools of the Trade. Did I get that right, Christine? Okay, Tools of the Trade, and it's for the Furnituremaker. So I want to gear some applications toward furniture making that our tools really, really, really shine at. And obviously everybody's going to go, oh, it's the Dominoes. Of course it is. But also the track saws. And of course, for every application of furniture making, we have a sander. But what I want to do is, you know what? Why don't I just get on with it, right? Stop jibber-jabbering. Okay, let's go over here. So yesterday, while I was setting it up, I wanted to go through straight line ripping this walnut slab because I wanted to get a perfect edge and, so we could join another slab to it together on this walnut. But then I started thinking, I went, it does such a good job, and Chris, get in here so you can see this. There's barely a saw blade mark. So a lot of people will ask us, hey, can I straight line rip and be ready for glue up? Absolutely. I'm going to prove that to you today because this is a really killer application in furniture making. It's called bent lamination. And what I want to do is I want to rip some strips, which I've already done today. But I want to talk about blades first. The blade that comes with, and I'm going to be using the TS60, okay? This material, did I really get it is, let's get this, it's 50 millimeter or basically 2-inch thick. Let me get it off of the blade guide there. It's just a hair. I think it's 48 millimeter, okay, and just under, it's about 2 3/4 or 2 13/16. Okay, so in saying that, a few years ago, I would automatically jump to a 75. But we came out last year or the year after with a TS60 with a thin kerf blade, 168 millimeter. So I get that depth of cut I need on something like this. Okay, you basically get 2 1/4 depth of cut on the TS60 at 90. So, mentioning that, I just want to talk about blades for a second. If it's got a yellow half moon ring on here, semicircle, it's for wood. So, walnut is wood. So that's the blade that comes with it. It's a 42 tooth blade. Okay. Then we have a ripping blade, and you can say, oh, a ripping blade, but it's a, let's see, this is a 16 tooth blade. Okay, it's a panther blade. Fantastic blade. But I want to get a glue line rip. So what I did is I grabbed the blade, and it's right here. We call it our universal blade. There's 28 teeth to it. Okay, that's the one I prefer because I get less saw blade marks versus the ripping blade. All right, now, will the 42 tooth blade do it? Absolutely, it's fantastic. But I wanted to show you this blade and the quality of cut off of it. So what I did is I combined it with the FS parallel guides. Now, if you need to know how to calibrate this, in the description, Chris put down there, episode number 26. I did a full episode on the FS parallel guides, and I showed how to calibrate the regular extension and then the extensions. The regular FS guides, parallel guides, and the extensions. And those are in the description as well, right, Unit? Mm-hmm. Okay, so what I did is I calibrated these yesterday, and I am going to do a 2mm rip, and I want to show you what you get so you can see the quality of cut. Remember, in other episodes, I've taught you to get behind the saw, and what I have is I have my stops right up against here and right up against here. And I'm just going to go through the flow of everything that I always do. Remember, I don't want to start into the cut. I want to start forward of the cut or the board. And I want to make this cut. And I truly wish I had feel-o-vision on this, because this blade going through this is effortless. The other thing I want to show you is never put your hand to catch it behind it. I always, in case I want to drop it like this. Now, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to label this. I got to remember what my last one was. Okay, I'm going to label this. And this is what you do with bent lamination. Okay? And this is number 6 in a series, and I always put an arrow up. Now, I've done this on bandsaws and table saws. The next thing you have to do with something like this is what? Throw it through a thickness sander or drum sander to knock out the striations. But man, if we could get in here, you're going to see there's barely any saw blade marks. The reason you do that, put it through a thickness sander or drum sander, is to knock that down so they mesh together perfectly. But here's what I want to do. I've ripped 5 yesterday, and you can see all of these. These are all 2mm thick. Okay, I'm going to bring it in right now. And I want to bring this in. So Chris, come in here so you can see this. And what you do with bent lamination is you put it in a bending form. You put urea formaldehyde glue on there. It's a long open time. Okay? But when you put it together, it's a trick of the eye. It looks like a single piece of wood. But watch, as I put compression on this, you're going to see how that line disappears. All these little lines disappear. And that's what you want when you put it in a bending form like this to bend wood. And that's a whole process there. Maybe we can do a Festool Live on bending. But I wanted to point that out because that right there with the TS60, okay, with the FS parallel guides, perfectly calibrated at 2mm, it's 2mm from here to here, all right? And you have a perfect bent lamination rip. So I wanted to kind of prove that to you because I've always talked about very few saw blade marks on there, but I think one of the true things with it is a huge time saver for the furniture maker who's doing bent laminations. Now, I will tell you, I did not learn this from I learned this from somebody. I didn't learn it from anybody at Festool. I learned it by a craftsman who used to use a 75, okay, and he had his own way of gauging it, and he used to do bent laminations for his staircases. And he said there's no better system than the Festool system for bent laminations because it saves you a ton of time in processing it, because that's the one thing you want. You want to keep that sequence of numbers going forward. See, I'm already losing it because I flipped number 1. There's number 1 with my arrow up. Okay, so it is a huge time saver for the furniture maker. Okay, next. Let's get to the dominoes. How am I doing, Christine? Am I too fast? No, I'm doing good? Okay. Christine's my timer. All right. Whew. Now, a cabinet maker / also furniture maker makes doors. They make frames. One of the toughest joints in any application is a miter joint. Okay, and I've done this before, but I wanna show you again. I ripped some miters, but yes, a 5-piece door right here. Okay, beaded door is tough to do. You want to put a domino in there. This is 50mm stock. I ripped some up. But whether it's a captured door or a door you put in with like little holders like this, okay, or you know, you're making a nice piece of furniture and you want to do some glass doors, you can do it just the way I'm going to do it. But that miter, to bring the bead in perfect, is really tough. Not with the Festool system, and I'll show you. So let me grab a couple of pieces here so we can do this. And remember, I always go through the different... Okay, so let's do this. Man, I rough cut these yesterday. I want to make sure I get it perfect. Okay, so that's good. I got this on the Capex. Let me do this. Now, as I step through this, you're going to understand. We did that Festool Domino Refresh, Festool Live Domino Refresh a few weeks ago or a month ago. And I always go through these 4 things. One of them is marking the board to make sure that the domino lays on the surface, the same reference surface. That was rule number 1, okay? And I always mark the board. Now, the beauty of the referencing of the domino is this flap right here. See it? And they're spring-loaded. Now, on a miter, this is the long point, and that's the short point. Always remember, you have it set in a tight setting. I'll show you that in a minute. But that, from the long point, you reference that flap, okay? And the first domino is in the tight setting, which is this setting here. You'll understand this in a few minutes. Now, I need a little bit of help on some division here. I know you're a Miss Metric here. What is half of 40?
20.
Wow, she's really good at metric. Okay, so we have to set our depth because we're using a 6 by 40 in length domino. So my plunge depth, PD I always call it, is 20, and I have it set at 20. Now I'm just going to verify, because I was doing a lot of work yesterday in here. I'm going to verify that I have a, what? A 6mm bit. Oh, I did that because I want to see Christine smile. Okay, good. Hang on, Christine. Wait. There you go. Okay, good. All right. So I have a 6mm cutter in there. So I'm ready to go. Now, this is basically 20mm thick, 18mm, and once I want as much glue line as I can get. So remember, I've always taught you, it's that rule of thumb, right? Third, and a third. So I'll just draw that out like this, and I'll bring it out, and that looks third, and a third, where this is where my tenon is going to go, or domino. That's 6mm, that's 6mm. Okay, wow, that was kind of close, and that's 6mm. So my shoulders are strong. That's the rule of thumb in woodworking. So I'm just going to set this up. Okay, what's that next rule that we need is what? Working off the plane of the table. Okay, the third rule is, you'll see me do it, plunging in line. I usually plunge from the back of the domino. And the fourth one is plunge at a steady rate. If you get too much chatter, you get a climb cut in, you get a lot of slop in the mortise this way. So let's go through it. I'll just take it like this. Let me see if I'm running. Okay, this Bluetooth doesn't work with that. Let me see if it's, okay, we're on, we're good. I think I have the wrong hose with the wrong Bluetooth, but let me just, let's see. Okay, so when you're doing this, I like to put my thumb here to make sure my plate is dead flat. I've referenced that long point, and I'm going to plunge. Because I have set my height of my plate, because if we look right in there, that's 20mm. That's the thickness of the material. And you'll see, that's, boy, I had a pretty, hey, I should take vacation more often. My eye's getting better. Look at that, huh? And I'm going to put that tenon in there like that. Okay, so we'll leave that right there. Chris, you can get a shot of that. And then I'm going to take it like this and do the other one. Okay, so here we go. I reference my X. Hey, Chris, I ever show you a picture of my X?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there it is. Wait for it. Okay. Take it like this. I got my thumb there. And watch how I'm plunging. And you can actually hear it. It's a steady rate. But I'm plunging from the back of the machine. Bam, there we go. So when I put this together, one of the things you want is the long point to come together, and you want this face to be flush with this face. And if we reference the machine every time on the same reference face, look what happens. It comes together perfectly. And here's the beauty. I've done this 1,000 times, but now you can use right angle clamps when you're clamping up, because now it's a captured cut. It's a locked joint because you've used the tight setting on the domino for each one on either side. So that will save you so much time in lineup and layout and everything. It makes it wicked easy to build frames, anything in furniture building. Okay, so next is this. I'm going to use the XL for this and go over the XL with you again, but I've laid everything out. We're ready to rock and roll. Okay, this is an apron and this is a leg. Okay, tapered leg. We used to do this exercise once a month, building farm tables here in the training center. But one of the first things I thought back in 2007, when I got my first domino back in Fort Lauderdale, I went, oh, I looked at these here. And on the domino here, I looked at this and I went, I saw the different numbers in here. It took me a while to get used to the numbers. Here, when I put it in the window, is the thickness. But I saw you could calibrate offsets. And that's, for me, when I did mortise and tenon joinery, which is really tough because I'd always forget to calculate the offset, what I wanted when I would do my layout and hand cut and chop, or set up another series of machines to do it. Here, it's all done because of this gauge block, and you're going to see why in a minute. I want a 10mm offset from here. Okay, it's built into the machine, and you're going to see it in a couple of minutes. All right, I'll step you through this. But once again, the reason for the XL, and let's see if I can do this, I've done this before on Festool Live, is the XL, oh, let me take this apart. I've had this since the release of the domino. Let me see if I can hit myself like I usually do. Okay, let me take this out. Okay, we're gonna use an 8mm thick tenon. Okay, this is basically 24mm thick or 25mm thick, 1-inch thick material. All right, now, I would hear this all the time. And to this day I hear it. Can I have a Domino 500 and can I use the 8x50s and just double them up? You need the length. Here's the 8x100. We're gonna go 50 and 50 into each piece. That's why the XL. It's long grain to long grain adhesion. If I took, see, I glued this up yesterday, and I can't break this apart, okay? Because this is long grain and this is long grain. And I put them like this. Now, if I took and put what? Glue here and stuck it here, I could come in the morning and go like this and break it away. You need long grain to long grain adhesion. I don't want to talk too much about it. That's why you need a longer tenon. That is not enough adhesion for this application. Hopefully that came across properly. If you're a woodworker, if you're a furniture builder and you're watching this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so a little bit of labeling. Let's do this piece first. This is roughly 25mm, 1-inch thick. Okay, and I do this for everything, whether it's in front of a camera or I'm at home doing stuff or I'm in here building stuff. I got to build some catalog racks next week for Pascal and Inside Sales, and I will label everything. Okay, because guess what? I have multiples to do, and I want to make sure I'm referencing the right face. So I made an X, and I know this is the end I'm coming in. I'm going to use a 20 flap and 50 flap. My plate height is 15. Ooh, let me set that over here. Okay, if I set it at 15. Now, when I set that, this is the difference between the 500 and 700. It is the exact distance from the plate. See that little mark right there? That's the center of my bit. So if I took a measuring tool from here to here, you would see it's 15mm. That's the true distance from the plate to the top of the material. Hopefully that came across all right. So my plunge depth is 50, so I'll just take this over here. And this is an easy one. I don't have to offset it. I'll just take it like this and set it at 50 because I'm going to go 50 into each piece. So I'll just kind of lock that in. No need to set up multiples. And always use a couple of clamps. Let me get this hooked up so we can make that mortise. All right. Okay. So I want to make sure you understand this too. It's always a safety thing. I don't know if you notice this, but I do this every single time. When I walk up to tool and before I put in a plug it, I always make sure it's cycled off. It's a good reference to do, and that goes for anything, any tool you have in your shop. Before you get it all set up or you plug it in, make sure it is set. The switch is set off. Now, the other thing I always do, because people bump into things in here, I always make sure I'm set exactly at 0. So, because I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to be plunging horizontally in here. Okay, so let's talk about the reference. You having fun?
I am.
A lot of people?
Not enough, but yeah.
Woo! Everybody tell us where you're from. Okay, so right here, you have 3 flaps. From here to the center is 20 millimeter. From the center to this one is 37. That's the flap on the 500 as well. And from the center to this one is what? 50 millimeters. The nice thing about this helps my brain, is I can punch them in and lock them all in like this. And right here on the side, I can pop them all back out. But I'm going to use on both parts of this, the leg and the apron skirt, I'm going to use a 2050 and a 2050 over here. So this is why you always mark your starting point. Cool? Cool. I'm going to use the tight setting. And I'm going to plunge from the rear of the machine. I'm going to take it and now use the 50. How's that, Chris?
Fantastic.
Wow. So there you go, look at that. Now I will always tell you, make sure, make sure you always have a pair of channel locks when you dry fit, because I'll tell you what, sometimes those are wicked hard to take out. Okay, so let's come over here. Hopefully Chris gets this. Or can. Look, the only thing I have to change, I'm going to use the 20 and 50. I'm going to go from the top here, okay? But my plunge height is now 25. Minnie,
Yeah.
subtract 15 from 25.
10.
Woo! She's good at metric. Check it out. I want to do a what? A 10 millimeter offset. So I come right in here. This 15, this 25. See how that works? Okay. So I got a dog here, I got a clamp here, and what I like to do is just get a piece here, because this is tapered. I go like this, and I just snug a piece in there like that. It makes it easy and safe, and now I can reference that. I got that set at 25, double check everything, turn it on, and come right in here. And then grab the 50 pin. Notice I'm plunging at a steady rate. I wish we had a camera on, Chris. Oh, God. Okay. Drum roll. Brrr. Hello? 10 millimeter offset, everybody. And look how easy that was. It's just understanding your reference points on the machines. And it's so, anybody out there who's building furniture, or if you're an enthusiast building furniture on the weekends and you just love woodworking, this just speeds up everything, but also creates a killer loose tenon for joinery. And you got one super, super strong joint, glue joint. All right, so there you go. There you go. Hey, I may use this one. Nah, I'll use this over here. Okay, next. Someone say, hey, what sander do we need for Furnituremaker? Every single one in the catalog, even the Plain-X. I'm just kidding. This was a tough one because I wanted to make sure Furnituremakers know what we have in our arsenals, and sometimes these things get overlooked. So I do have two favorite sanders, and one of them isn't out. My favorite sander that I use for a lot of things in my shops are the RO 150. But everybody knows what, yeah, Christine just pointed it out. It actually hangs permanently on my work center. But the other one that's always nearby is this one. This is the DTS 400. We have it in a cordless version as well. And this is so misunderstood. I think I've done 100 Festool lives on this. I don't care. You have to understand the pad, and I didn't when I first started coming to Festool. There's actually a slight arc to it, okay? This is a better reference, a slight arc to it, okay? The paper has that same arc, of course, but if you really pay attention right here, it's tapered up. It's not a true triangle. Look, look, look. This is more of a, well, actually, this has a slight arc. This is the RO90, and this has a slight arc to it as well. So if we could look at this, it's a single point of contact. And what's important about that is when I'm sanding up against adjacent surfaces. Now, my friend Tim was in here for a Festool training class, an end user class when we used to have them. Tim Moore. I don't know if you're watching, Mr. Moore, but you really taught me something because we had gone into glue up. It was the second day on the farm table. I'll never forget it. And he said, Sedge, how do I get the glue out of there? Okay. And I said, DTS 400, don't you have one? He goes, no. You remember him, don't you, Minnie?
I love Tim.
Tim's awesome. And I go, I thought everybody knew about this sander, and he didn't. He bought it right away. Before he left, he had it waiting for him, I think, at Berlin's. He's from Chicago, or was from Chicago. And it was pretty daggone cool because everybody went, huh? So sometimes that's why I like talking about that, is because when you're building in furniture, you have these glue lines, you know, and you know what I'm talking about. It's right here. You have squeeze out. Okay, I've talked about it in cabinetry. We always have squeeze out if we use glue. But how do you attack that situation that you have? And one of the easiest things to do is get the right sander. This is not your typical detail sander. It's an orbital sander, and you'll see right here, watch. Oh, you know what, I'm just gonna clamp this down so I'm not all over the place on this. But I want you to focus in here because you get glue squeeze out. Because you have that adjacent surface, you can get right in there. Look at that. And it all disappears. It is so easy to sand detail. Now, the nice thing is you don't have any dust either, and you're not breathing it. So there's my tip on dust extraction today. Okay, so if you have large surfaces, this is the perfect sander for it. But what if you just have a few of these surfaces, and in your arsenal you already have what? An RO90. You see the triangle? That's how you change the pad. It's now an orbital sander, but you can take that, and we have that detail pad for the RO90. By the way, this is another thing I love about the Festool system, is I didn't have to go plug in the cord or anything. The plug-it cord's always there with this, with what? With the hose. It's right there. All right. So I can just see some of you guys out there, gals out there listening. They're going, yeah, Sedge, we know. Well, not everybody out there knows. So sometimes I forget to say stuff. It's all right. So once again, I won't mar the leg because of the slight taper, and taper this way. It's a slight arc on this detail sander. So I can get right in there as well and nail that application. And that is why this is a huge hit as well, with exceptional dust extraction. Whew, okay. I'm going to talk about one more. Oh, I got to talk about this. If you ever do this, you know those doors we were doing over here? Watch. Okay, say you put it together and it's rabbited or whatever, and you got to sand this profile here. The one thing you don't want to do is put a round pad sander because you have a tendency of flattening out that bead. And I want to show you. This DTS 400, it's fantastic. This is what I use at home. It's fantastic for this because I can have that great sight line and come right in here and sand that right up to that line. I got a good, a good angle of sight on there, a good sight line, and I can sand this even after it's assembled. So it's a great sander. In other words, if I used a round pad for this, I stand a chance of gaining the flat on there. And that's what you don't want. You've spent all this time creating this profile. Before you do anything, you should always check to make sure you put it through the router table and there are no flats. And that's why you double check everything, but that's why you use a sander like this so you don't sand a flat on there. And that is a learned thing in furniture building or cabinetry. Because I can't tell you the first time I did that, and I used a random orbit sander, and I was sanding this, and then we sprayed some finish on there, and I could see flats, and I went, ugh. And I think we ruined about 10 doors doing that, Mikey and I. It was a drag. Okay, so speaking of flats, I'm going to take this piece, and I grabbed this out of the back because I've used this for a dozen different applications. But one of the things I want to show on this is another Chicago group of people were here one time and they said, what's an interface pad? It's been sitting on they were dealers and they were sitting on my wall. And I go, it's the interface between the sander and the sandpaper. And they go, but what's it for? I said, this, sanding profiles. So let me grab my ETS 125. I mean, probably everybody listening has this sander. Or we would hope. Christine, you're looking to get one of those, aren't you?
Sure am.
All right. She just doesn't run the board?
She runs the board.
She sands the board. There you go. Minnie, you're quick today. She's always quick. Okay, so if I'm sanding this part here, and hopefully we can get that, there's all kinds of planer marks on there, okay? This is just the board we did a bunch of stuff with during a RSM training. Okay, so I have my dust extractor turned down low. I got the right pad on here, and I got my sandpaper. Sanding this flat spot is easy. But the problem is this profile, this round over. Okay, remember I told you about the bead here? Wrong sander for this, because you don't want to sand a flat spot or a facet in there. So to sand this, you never sand it like this, because you hit that with finish, you'll have those flat spots. Some people do it like this, watch. But guess what? You're not that good. I'm not. No one here is, because you'll have small little facets on there. The only time you see those is when you spray a finish or you apply a stain. So I have, I believe, 120 on here when I set this up yesterday. So I'm going to take that off. Guess what I have right here? I have 120. So you sand the flats with the regular pad, but this interface pad interfaces with the 120 granite that I have on here and the pad. I don't have to go and find a screwdriver or anything to remove the pad. And check this out. It conforms to the profile. So I can sand just like this and sand that profile absolutely perfect with no flat spots. So we have that in so many different orientations. We have thinner ones, thicker ones. We have them, the interface pads. We have them in 6-inch, 5-inch, the RTS ones. So check them out. They're great for sanding profiles. And every furniture maker has profiles on their work. Wow. That was a lot, wasn't it?
That was great.
Woo! I get the thumbs up for the executive producer.
Oh my.
The unit. All right. Hey, I don't know about you guys, but I miss doing this. This was fun.
It was.
Okay. Hey, I still got to call everybody off. All right. Wow. Look at all these people. Oh my God. Look at that. I can't wait to get to that one. Woo! One love. Ray from Pensacola. Andrew from Toledo. I think that's Toledo, Ohio.
Likely.
Okay, likely. Doug from Zionsville. How you doing, Doug? Big Island Ed. Merlin from Walla Walla, Washington. Leo from Holland. Mike M. from Austin, Texas. Rob from South Devon, England. Joe from Waseca, Illinois. Ruben from Centurion, South Africa. Wicked. Oliver from Southern California. How you doing, Oliver? Marlon from Jamaica. And that's why I said one love. I could sing Molly, can't I?
You can.
Oh, I can't. Okay. Woodcraft Baiting. The crew is online. They always are. Thank you guys for watching. We have Jason and Yana from Granite Falls, Washington. Sparktrician, that would be Willie from Virginia. We have Gerald from Derrida, LA. Chris from Minneapolis. Warren from Batavia, Ohio. Tom and Kelly, there you are from Eatonton, Georgia. Welcome back. Mark from Krimpet and de Lek. I believe that's the Netherlands. Peter from Melbourne, Australia. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning there. Okay. Stefan from Augsburg, Germany. Eli from Denver. How you doing, Eli? Billy from Houston, Texas. Aranzo from Mississauga, Ontario. Woo, double O. Hey, Mr. Hugster, how are ya? Russ Hugster. R. Hugster, and he is from Chichester.
Do you know everybody?
Him and I text all the time back and forth, and we message each other. You're a cool dude. We're going to meet up someday and hang, I guarantee it. Oh my God, it's him. It's him. It's Dirk from Dayton. We have Jacob from Rhode Island, Jerry G. My main man, Jerry G from Sugar Grove, Illinois. Jason from Fenton, Michigan. Michael from Oahu. Des from Aragon, England. Chris from Malta. Hey, Christine, you want to go do a Festool Live from Malta? Woo! She'll go. All right. Gary from Beers with the Boys. How are you, Gary? Joshua from Las Vegas. Mac from Los Angeles, California. Bermuda Steve. He's from Bermuda.
Yeah.
I'm good like that, huh?
You
Down
are.
by the river. Okay. Hey, we have Ernesto from
He's home again.
San Francisco.
He's been on
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going, Ernesto from San Francisco. I'm going, where's Homegian, San Francisco? We have Soren from Denmark. We have Petri from Jolarvi, Finland. Bam. Just trying to scare the man, Chris. We have Scott from Greenlee, Colorado. Derek from Tallahassee, Florida. We have Cal from Bucharest. We have David. It's her, everybody. Gwen from West Virginia. See you next week. Hey, we have Matt from Newark, Ohio. Dave from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Matt from Tinley Park, Illinois. All right. We have Frank from Downers Grove, Illinois. Okay. We have David from Israel. Dan from Kingman, Arizona. My main man, Dan. We have Lawrence from Minnetonka, Minnesota. Blake Weber, Novato, California. Jeff from Clarksburg, Maryland. John from West Fairleigh, Vermont. Jordan from Waleska, Georgia. Yep. Okay. Claus from Beer Place, Denmark. Larry from New Bern, North Carolina. Paul from Reading, Berkshire, UK. He's with us quite often. All the time. Brian from Westerville, Ohio. Jim B. from Greenbrier, California. Don P. from Alabama. Bravo from Odessa, Texas. Norman from Fallbrook, California. Apo from Aka, Finland. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Woo! We have Alan from Austin, Texas. We have Dick from Katy, Texas. Rocky from Kings Mountain, North Carolina. We have Gail from Eden, New York. Dragon from Serbia. I love this one. Because they know they're always sending me these Northern Wales towns. But they call themselves out the knotheads of Betwis Y Coed.
Good job.
I think I got it.
I'm good.
You guys are cool. Keep up the good work. All right, we have Lode from Stockholm, Sweden. Juntu from Benny. This is a good one. Suomalaisarmeli, Finland.
Nicely done.
Not bad?
Not
Okay,
bad.
good.
Not bad.
We have Hawk from West Sussex, England. We have Patrick and Michelle. Woo! From Strongsville, Ohio. Those are my friends, and that is Leather by Dragonfly. Brian, another one of my friends in the Bahamas. How you doing, Mr. St. John Moss? Michael C. from Winchester, Virginia. Captain Kirk from Rockland, Marietta, Georgia. I love that. That's a good one. Papa Joe.
Papa Joe.
Papa Joe, how you doing from Boston? Eric from Huntsville, Alabama. Mark from Anaheim, California. Milosh from Belgrade. Steve from Devon, England. Igor from Philadelphia. But you know what I'm thinking of? Igor.
Yes.
You remember? Young Frankenstein? Oh, Marty Feldman was Igor. Jeff from Bloomington. It was a normal. Abby Norman. EDJ from Point Verde, Florida. Chris, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Nope, not at all. I'm just going with the flow.
Unbelievable, huh?
Going with
It's
the
so
flow.
sad.
We're going to sit down and we're going to watch Young Frankenstein. George from Tallinn, Estonia. Dale from Swadlincote, England. He's always with us. Mike and Hannah from Nat's Paint Center. Now's Paint Center. Hey, welcome. New to the Festool family in Massachusetts.
Yes.
Woo! Welcome. That's Now's Paint Center. Okay, Alex from San Diego. Smitty. I love that name. I have a buddy in college named Smitty. We have Wes from Bessemer City, North Carolina. Paul from Somerville, Georgia. Ron from Eatonville, Washington. Boy, you guys. Stephen from Muswell Brook, Australia. Thank you for tuning in. Karen from Sugar Hill, New Hampshire. That's cool, man. Minnie, are you making stuff up?
I'm not sure it's not 10 more.
Okay, we have Ohus to Inca. Did that sound right?
Close.
Okay, from Lancaster, California. Jen Kalin. Hey, I know who that is. How you doing, Jen? Woo, Mooresville, Indiana.
Yeah. Carson's there too.
Who? Karsten! Carson, how you doing? Whoa, we got to get you on a Festool Live, my man, from Mooresville, Indiana. Wow, you guys are tuning in. This is so wicked cool. Woo! All right. This is fun. Hey, I got to tell you, everybody, we've been working diligently since I've been back. We got so many great things planned and surprises on Festool Live. I already know when episode 200 is.
Yay.
Yeah, baby. Okay, so we got so many great things happening this fall and winter. We got a bunch of, it's new tool release time in a few weeks.
Oh, sweet.
I'm getting stoked on that. Yes, exoskeleton. What did I say? Oops. Okay.
hear
Whoopsie. I'm climbing the building. Okay, so I just want to say, this. I have missed every one of you. I've missed our crew in here. I got to thank Brent. You're always doing a great job for us. Thank you so much from my heart. I want to tell you, everybody out there listening right now, we love you.
Yep.
We do. This is my favorite hour of the week. I think it's Minnie's, and I know it's not Chris's because I'm still jibber jabbering. He can't wait to get to the lake. Christine, thank you. You are a rock star. We really appreciate it. I think I do this now to make you laugh. Hey. From all of us, we love you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm back for, I think, till Christmas.
Yay.
And we have so much cool stuff planned. Hey, I think that's a wrap. Episode 186 in the books. I think that's it, Christine.